Patria muerte! Patria muerte! Patria muerte! Thank you very much.
In less than 15 days to go to the national shutdown which the EFF had called under its leadership when they said this.
The reason for the national shutdown to demand the return of electricity and for the resignation of C.Ramaphosa is further informed by the following reasons: rising cost of living for all South Africans, rising levels of unemployment and poverty of our people, increasing levels of crime, particularly murder and gender-based violence, his decision to close down coal power stations without consultation with the people of South Africa, rising levels of corruption, lack of service delivery, and collapsing public infrastructure, particularly hospitals and roads. Phala scandal, where a lot of criminal activities were committed. The national shutdown means that there will be no school, no university, factories, and no business will be operating on the 20th of March. All municipalities and all major cities will be shut down, and there will be no work on that day. All major roads will be barricaded, and all ports of entry, including roads that lead to the borders, will be closed. The national shutdown to demand the return of electricity and for the resignation of C.Ramaphosa will mean that no business operation will be opened on that day, and no truck and no train will be allowed on the roads and railways, particularly the trucks transporting South Africa's minerals and coal to the outside South Africa through Richards Bay. We cannot fold our arms and do nothing when the ANC government and Cyril Ramaphosa, who is involved in a lot of criminal and questionable dealings and yet protected by law enforcement agencies. This is a shutdown. We will call for the immediate end to the load shedding, which is crippling the South African economy and returning this country to the dark.
Well, guys, there you have it. That is the EFF leader, Julius Malema, giving some of the reasons that really motivate the EFF to call for this national shutdown. But this kind of a national shutdown, it couldn't have impact if the reasons that the EFF and its leadership are advancing does not have impact on South Africans. But looking at things the way they are at the moment, in few days before even this national shutdown have to take place, we get to see some strike and protest all over around the country. And I'm afraid to say, if this can start taking place right now, what will happen on the day of the national shutdown? Because remember, people who are striking today, people who are protesting today, they are not all doing part of the EFF. They are not politicians. For an example, here we're talking about students who are busy protesting because of the accommodation and the registration fees, which they want to be solved out. And we also, what happened? We're talking about the public sectors who are also busy striking all over the country. Look on the news, you get to see on how these people, they are even stopping the patient from entering the hospital or clinic so that they can be attended as usual. All these things, they are taking place because something's supposed to be done, but it did not happen. Guys, have first listened to this guy here. He's the president of the student league where they are busy striking. He gets to give some of his reasons and try to understand together with you on what he's asking. Is this something that the government can fail to solve? Yes or no? Have first listen to what he said here.
Personally, how has it affected you, your studies and everything else?
I've been excluded from the university. I've been chased away from my home, the home which I pay fees for, and without any trial, without any appeal. Right now, this blazer, I can't even access my SRC blazer. The clothes that I'm wearing, I clothes from a friend who said, Apio, you look dirty, take this thing and wear it. I have nowhere to sleep as you're speaking. And that will not derail me or won't derail the SRC from pursuing our genuine demands of accommodation and registration. We are saying the Vice Chancellor must come to the table and discuss registration and accommodation. If the Vice Chancellor feels that there are grounds for a suspension, which we do not think there are, he must go and meet us in court. Let's discuss registration, let's discuss accommodation. The legalities part, we're gonna meet him in court. We are able to face Vets in court for pound, because Vets has broken the law. Vets has brought these abusers. So let's go and discuss that in court. Right now, as an SRC, we want to discuss these students who've been protesting from day one, who are tired, who are hopeless, who are here to pursue education so that they can make their lives better. But we have been declined that opportunity to discuss that because the Vice Chancellor is adamant. He doesn't want to meet us. How can you say that these are sectoral issues while we had the sector to answer those things? While we had that every stakeholder was on the table to discuss, but the Vice Chancellor was absent because the Vice Chancellor is saying we are protesting. Now we have ceased fire. Can the Vice Chancellor address us? That's what we want. I know he's hearing this. Can Vets University come and address all SRC members? If they want to continue to persecute us with legalities, we're going to meet them pound for pound in court. We don't mind. But the pending issues now, we are not enjoying the protest. They are not enjoying the protest, but the protest is genuine. Up until these issues are answered for, the protest will continue.
When you get to listen to his recommendation or their recommendation, whether it is the students, whether it is the public sector who are busy also striking, you get to see all of them. They are asking for something which has to deal with the government. Now, you'll ask yourself a question to know, why do I have to play you, or why do I have to bring all this together? It is for a very simple reasons. Look, when the national shutdown was announced by the EFF, at first it really raised a lot of misunderstanding among people. You know, there were some people who were busy supporting it, and there were some people who were trying to criticize it, and you know, and all this. In one of our videos we played for you before, we tell you the good and bad of the national shutdown. And we try to explain you exactly what is this national shutdown really mean for any citizen of this country. And how is it going to look? How will be life after then? We show you the success and the failure of the national shutdown. And one of these things, the reason that we had put to you, was to tell you that this national shutdown, for those who are trying to criticize it, for those who don't want to see it taking place, they could succeed only if what it has been mentioned as a reasons or motivation for the EFF to call for this national shutdown, if it was not making sense to any person out there. For an example, in the points that the EFF they had raised as reasons to call for this national shutdown, they had mentioned about the electricity crisis, about the unemployment, about coal, about a lot of things, which it is only you can be able to identify each and every point that the EFF they have raised, whether it is really making sense or not, isn't it? Now, the only way this national shutdown was not going to have an impact, it is only if all these things, all these points that the EFF they had raised up, it was not adding any significant value to what the nation they are going through at the moment. And we told you also in our previous video that national shutdown, it means a very big loss when it comes to the government, when it comes to the state, because that day no one will pay tax, because you do not go out, you do not work, you do not produce, nothing will happen, everything will stop. So even when it comes to the government revenues, they are not going to have anything that day, because the government they get to any revenue only when people they are working, when people that are going out, they when transport, they're up and down on the street, That is how the government get to brief as well. But when it is a national shutdown, it's like a dead day where each and everyone, they are free to do their own things without engaging themselves in work or have to answer to their employers or whoever who's in charge of the place that they do as the daily activities. Now, that is something that there is no any government out there would like to allow this kind of things to take place on their side, because it is something that will make you be a loser, especially when it comes against the opposition political party. Do you understand? So, and we had said to you that the only way the ruling government, the state, everyone who's against this national shutdown to not take place, what they should do is that the government, they should try their best to look on the things that can revolt people to go on the street that day and march, peaceful march. Those things to answer to those questions on time, because if I still remember correctly, this national shutdown, it was announced in January, somewhere there. So they were having about 2 months for them to get to give answer to these crucial questions which the EFF have raised. And once that happened, the EFF, they're not going to have another motivation to continue on calling people to go on the street for and march on that day. If the government have at least even try, even 50% of whatsoever could be the problem, I don't think it was really gonna give many people to go on the street and try to strike or protest against something that they are not happy with. Now, so far, what we get to see, instead of the government trying to do much better on what they're supposed to do, apparently, when we get to look at the actualities, that is not the case. You'll agree with me. In few days, only few days remains. I'm talking about 12 to 13 days that remains for this national shutdown. We get to see a massive protest of students. And we all know that all countries, the majority of citizens in each and every country around the world are youth. And youth, when we're talking about youth, we think students. These are the people who can influence. These are people who can change things around. These are people who can turn a small situation into a big situation. I believe you'll totally agree with me, isn't it? If you do agree with me, don't forget to give us your thumbs up, like the video, we really do appreciate. Secondly, we get to see public sectors who are striking, asking for their wage to be increased by 10%. And they're asking this apparently because they've been talking for so long time. They've been complaining about this long time, but there were no solution. And all this is happening few days before the national shutdown of the EFF have to take place. Now, guys, you'll ask me, why am I bringing this up again? Well, what is all this mean? This simply means to say that the day of the national shutdown, which the EFF had called on the 20th of March, once that day arrived, these people who are not politicians, who are striking as a student, who are striking as a public sectors, these people, they'll come and join the EFF. These people, they'll come and answer the call of the EFF. They'll take that as an opportunity for them to raise their voice even in a very big majority. These people, they'll take advantage of that because, remember, they are workers. And yet, you are not fulfilling what they're asking you for. Then, they'll take that as an advantage for them to even strike against you, because they'll feel like this is a good opportunity, right? The student, they'll take this as an opportunity again for them to come in their numbers to march on that day. So now you get to see the possibility that the national shutdown, which the EFF had called, it will be succeed and it will have a very big impact on that day. Because beside the EFF, you guys recently saw some other political parties and the groups that are busy joining this movement, I mean this call, the one of the EFF. So you get to say that the only choice the government remains with right now, since they could not be able to provide some of the answers to what people are asking for, or to try to prove the EFF wrong on what they had accused the current government on by doing what is good, the government now, they only remain with one choice, which is one, providing the security and make sure that this should be a peaceful march, because you have to look out now. And these securities that the government will put on the street, they should be more cooperative, because if they have to go and use the law enforcement on this group of people, things might end up turning wrong. And that's what we are afraid of, because in one of the videos I told you, in case things turn wrong, what will be the country tomorrow? So that is it, guys. I wanted to discuss with you in these videos, just to let you know that the temperature, the way things are getting right now, I don't like it. Yes, I don't like it, because it's giving now everyone the right, I mean, it's giving the EFF right for everyone to believe in their reasons. And it will make everyone to go and support the EFF on that day. And once that happens, there's many things that can happen. It is either to be more successful to the point that the president can resign or try to change things around, or it is either things can end up turning bad and some crazy things take place in the country. So we don't want that. Whatsoever it will happen on that day, we just want things to go more peaceful. People, they must march in a very peaceful way, as democracy requires us to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Dobsi Nyembe. Don't leave before you give us your thumbs up. We'll really do appreciate. Subscribe to the channel if this is your first time to watch our videos. But above all, be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.